1, go. Oh, wow. The thing about this thing is that it's not the most aerodynamic thing out there. And of course, knowing Ford, these guys always try something new with at least the technology, because I would say they're the most advanced when it comes to technology compared to the Chevy Silverado and the Ram 1500, which, as long as I love my Rams, but in terms of tech, Ford is ahead by a large margin. Ladies and gentlemen, today you guys join me in a 2024 Ford F-150. And before y'all ask what's underneath the hood, we have so many options, but this thing is the 3.5 liter V6, turbocharged by the way, 400 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque, can tow up to 14,000 pounds, 10-speed automatic transmission, and this is the startup sequence. Yes, we still have a key that we have to plug in right here. There we go. Completely digital gauge cluster everywhere around us. The sound system and the interior is not too bad, honestly, I can't even lie. And the most key important thing for me, at least, is the stereo system, the sound system. So we're gonna give it a little go. We'll have this playing in the background as we do our quick little walk around. Get the vibes right, you know? What is new for the F-150? For the 2024? Not too much, really. It is still one of the best full-size pickup trucks money can buy. Competes with the Ram 1500, the Chevy Silverado, and not gonna lie, these entry levels make me wish I could get my hands on, let's say, a Raptor, because it's a very complacent and very modernized truck. For its worth, it's really not bad, and there's a lot of trims, there's a lot of engine options, and no matter the engine option you choose, you're always going to get a 10-speed automatic transmission. LED lights up in front, the chrome pieces fit up nicely, and one of the best things about having a full-size truck like this is that you must always have these running boards. These things are a must, especially if you have shorter passengers. Coming over the rear, this is your exhaust pipe right here, all the way back here. Very simple, but we're gonna go into the main part of this, where we're gonna talk about the interior, how things have been going for us. And let me turn off this music before we get hit with a copyright strike. So what do we have inside for the interior for us? Cloth seats all around, decent space in the back actually. Some storage over here where you can throw your phone, for example. You have another phone storage hanging up over here. And if you needed to, this turns into a third seat. But I gotta flick a little switch, a little lever right here. Pull this bad boy up, and then boom, third seat. It's not exactly the fanciest truck out there, I'm not gonna lie. But if you buy an F-150, you're buying it for the towing capacity and the sheer size of this thing. And we're gonna rev it up to give you a sense of what this thing sounds like. So we're gonna go 4,000 RPM soft limiter, which again makes sense. It is a pickup truck. It's a non-V8 as well too, and completely digital gauge cluster. A good 10 to 12 inches of screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, as you can see. Not bad, pretty responsive. If you're wondering what your backup camera looks like, that's your backup camera with a bird's eye view of what's happening all the way around you. So naturally, we're gonna do a quick little 0 to 60, test the capabilities of this car as a daily driver as we just go along driving this thing. And if you're wondering, for example, how this thing, what would be the best word to use, drives and its livability capabilities, I'm gonna show it to you right now. So we're gonna go into our sportiest setting, which is sports, which is always gonna be interesting to see how a big full-size truck handles. And of course, this thing doesn't like its corners. It's more capable, okay, it's compliant on the road as well as it is off-road. You can throw it in most situations and you will come out without a single problem most of the time. But we're gonna do a quick little acceleration, put it in 4H so that we can You can hear the little turbo spool. Ooh, sounds great. Like, cars like this, because what I've realized about these cars is that they always reflect the geography of the country they're from. These things, like, you wouldn't find a big F-150 like this in the streets of Japan. They have more windy roads, and a truck like this will become too cumbersome, too much of a burden to have. And we're gonna do a quick little 0 to 60 if no one's behind us. 3, 2, 1. Oh, sucking all that air. Wow, not bad. I could legit hear all the air getting sucked in by this thing. It's wild, it's mental. And the thing is, this is not even the V8. This isn't even the Tricon. This guy is having the time of his life. This isn't even, what's it called, a Raptor or anything like that. It's a simple turbocharged V6. And the way it moves, the way it carries itself, it emulates a mini V8. I can't even lie. People will look at this like, oh, but it ain't a 5.0 though, it ain't a V8. Why would you get this? It's still very enjoyable. And if you drive it spiritually, it's not bad at all. We're gonna turn on our lane keep assist. We have lane keep assist. We have a cruise control ready. We have a blind spot monitoring. Like, they've monetized this thing to the point where it's not difficult to live with. It's easy to live with a truck like this. One thing I would recommend though for somebody who wants to buy their first full-size pickup truck is, if you don't have any experience driving any kind of truck of any size, rent out one of these. Go to like maybe Turo or something, or go to your dealership and see if they will let you test drive it for like a weekend or so you can get used to the size. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, the size of a full-size truck is nothing like a sedan or a small SUV. They are very, very different, and they also handle very, very differently as well. So you gotta take all these things into account when you get into a truck like this, for example. But if we look at the trim of this one, you can see we have cloth seats, making it easier to maintain. You don't have to worry about polishing up the leather and keeping it moisturized. And you don't have to worry about burning your back when there's sun like this sitting on your seat, so you don't get cooked all the time. We don't have any sunroof or anything too fancy. Nothing of the nicer amenities that these trucks can offer. Of course, you can get those if you really wanted to. But for this trim base model, not even a base model, for this trim model, we don't have those. But we're gonna do a proper 0 to 60. We're gonna let these cars go up further ahead of me, just a little bit more. We're gonna try 0 to 60. We're gonna do a horn test and turn on our cruise control and let us just vibe, essentially. So when the road straightens out, turn on my hazards, pretend that we have had a little technical emergency. So 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, wow. The thing about this thing is that it's not the most aerodynamic thing out there. So for the G-forces to be hitting my body, as I mentally know that this thing is not meant for speed or anything like that, but it's confident in what it does. It's beautiful in what it does. It knows what it wants to do, and it's gonna do it to the best of its capabilities. And it's enjoyable. It puts a smile on my face. These cars, though, again, they're meant for towing, they're meant for hauling things, they're meant for me being a construction guy, being a workhorse guy, but because it's also slightly modern, like I keep saying, it does a little bit of everything. I'm not gonna throw this thing into a corner because that's just asking for it. That's just asking for my tail end to kick out and for me to lose traction, which easily I can do. If I want to do some foolishness, for example, my traction control button is right here, so traction control is off. That's our primary traction control, and if I hold it, my advanced traction control gets turned off. That means the car will not try and stop me in any way, shape, or form when the car goes sideways. If you want to do that, go right ahead. For me, since this is not my personal vehicle, I am not gonna do this to this truck. So we're gonna turn our traction control back on and use the car to the best of our abilities, because there's not gonna be many situations where I'm gonna need to fully turn off traction control. And since we're in Canada, this thing has enough clearance to go into pretty much any weather condition that Canada throws at us. We're talking about snow, we're talking about rain. And if you do go off-roading like mud, XYZ, this thing can handle it too. And of course, knowing Ford, these guys always try something new with at least the technology, because I would say they're the most advanced when it comes to technology compared to the Chevy Silverado and the Ram 1500, which, as long as I love my Rams, but in terms of tech, Ford is ahead by a large margin. Like, completely digital gauge cluster right here. Like, we can go through everything. We're gonna go into my view and just keep it simple into our calm view. Man, we're gonna take this corner a little bit quicker now. Like, look at this. Look at my gauge cluster. It's simple. It's like calm view is actually calming. And if you're wondering, yes, the theme does change for every mode you go into. So if we go into regular, normal driving, the calm screen changes up a little bit. Look, we go into a blue. And since this one is a slight mild hybrid, because you get a lot of options with these engines, you can get a mild hybrid, and at almost an empty tank, we have 300 kilometers of range, which is roughly the same as some small SUVs and some small sedans. But because we're a bigger truck and we have a lot more weight to us, you can kind of burn through it quickly if you drive like me, for example. Another thing I would love is they would make the turbo noises more exquisite, more louder. Give me them turbo noises. I love those little things. But again, driving, of course, before you get your Raptor, I want you to drive a base model so you can appreciate your Raptor more, because after driving these, I've enjoyed them so much that if I even picture me in a Raptor, I get goosebumps. I start getting excited. I start getting giddy, because this is enjoyable enough. This is 400 horsepower from a V6. Turbocharged V6, by the way. So imagine the Raptor that is way more powerful, way more fun, way more put together than this one. It gives me goosebumps to think about it. But I would highly recommend anybody go drive a full-size truck and see why Americans love these things. And I can't hate them for loving these things, because these things are perfect for what we need. So in our environment, in our country, where we have nothing but highways, this reigns supreme. Take care, guys. This has been Morty. Peace.